welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, where we bring you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us. In headlines, stakeholders set targets as President Tinubu picks Professor Amopitan to lead INEC. Futo DVC says 1.2 billion people are visually impaired. Aviation Ministry rolls out PASGA project for civil service reform. KSA urges TINUBU Attorney General to investigate former Minister Naji. Defense Chief says fitness and unity are crucial for troop readiness. And on business, CRFFN says National Single Window Project will reduce cargo clearance cost. NERC says bilateral companies owe Nigeria $8.5 million. On the foreign scene, ICC rejects bid to release ex-Philippines president. Protesters rally across Morocco in final push for reforms. And on sports, Italy's world champion suspended after stealing cosmetics at Singapore airport. And abuse forces Ref. Anthony Taylor to keep family from the stand. Now the news in detail. Ahead of the submission of his name and clearance by the National Assembly, Nigerian political parties and groups have set targets for the incoming national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amopitan-San. President Bola Tinubu presented Professor Amopitan to the Council of State as his choice for the election top job, and the Council approved his nomination. With the Council's approval, President Tinubu is expected to forward Professor Amopitan's name to the Senate for screening and confirmation next Tuesday. If confirmed by the National Assembly, Professor Amopitan, who hails from Kogi North Central, will be the sixth professor to head the electoral body in Nigeria after Eme Awa, Humphrey Nwosu, Maurice Iwu, Atahiru Jega, and Mahmoud Yakubu, who stepped down on October 7 after serving for 10 years. Those who saddled Amopitan with tasks and targets to ensure credible polls in the country include the African Democratic Congress (ADC), Obedience Movement, Coalition of United Political Parties (CUPP), Northern Ethnic Nationalities (NENF), and Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State. A statement by the presidential spokesman, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, said President Tinubu presented Professor Amopitan as the nominee to fill the vacant position following the exit of Professor Yakubu, who served from 2015 till October 2025. According to the statement, President Tinubu told the Council that Professor Amopitan is the first person from Kogi State nominated to occupy the position and that he is apolitical. 58-year-old Amopitan from Ayetorogbede, Ijumu local government area in Kogi State, is a professor of law at the University of Jos Plateau. He is also an alumnus of the university. He specializes in company law, law of evidence, corporate governance, and privatization law. He became a senior advocate of Nigeria in September 2014. Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, Federal University of Technology, Owerri Futo, Professor Emmanuel Esenwa, disclosed that no fewer than 1.2 billion people all over the world are said to be visually impaired. The DVC said this while delivering a lecture at a symposium to mark the 2025 World Sight Day in Umuahia, Abia State capital. This is as stakeholders at the symposium expressed worry over the prevalence of glaucoma in the southeast geopolitical zone. Meanwhile, Abia State government has announced a ban of unauthorized free medical outreach in any part of the state. Meanwhile, delivering a lecture at the symposium, Professor Esenwa highlighted some obstacles to accessing eye care services, to include ignorance, shortage of trained eye care workers, harmful practices, superstition, amongst others. He recommended health promotion, early detection, living healthy lifestyle, and increase in the number of health workers as some of the strategies to tackle the menace. Professor Esenwa commended the efforts of Abia State government in improving access to quality eye care to the grassroots and urged other states to emulate it. Speaking at the event, Commissioner for Health, Abia State, Professor Ogbonnaya Uche, explained that the state imposition of ban on unauthorized medical outreaches was as a result of a recent unauthorized medical mission in Abiriba community that resulted into loss of lives. He declared that henceforth, every free medical outreach in the state must get government approval and must be held in approved health facilities. He further urged community leaders not to surrender their subjects for any form of free medical outreach without government approval. The Commissioner also announced a ban on media promotion of medical products without validation of efficacy claims. Citing the World Health Organization, he said that the estimated prevalence of blindness for adults above 50 years in Nigeria is 9 out of every 100 adults. Speaking earlier, the Administrator, Abia State Eye Health Management Bureau, Dr. Mrs. Betty Emeka Obasi, begged Abians to make themselves available for eye examination at least during their birthdays. Commending Governor Alex Oti for the massive support for the agency to promote eye health in the state, she restated the agency's commitment to improving eye care. She said that the agency had upgraded the tertiary clinic at Abia State Specialist Hospital, Umuahia, and established 3 new eye centers at General Hospital Amachara, Ugunabo General Hospital, and Aba General Hospital. The Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development is set to implement the Personnel Audit and Skills Gap Analysis PASGA project, a human resource reform initiative aimed at enhancing efficiency and capacity within the Federal Civil Service. According to a statement by Head of Press and Public Affairs, Margaret Onyembuade, the project is an intervention at the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, OHCSF. It was formally presented to the Ministry's management on October 8, 2025 by Managing Director of Transform Limited, Dr. Ofyong Achibong. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana, welcomed the initiative, describing it as consistent with ongoing civil service reforms designed to promote an efficient, productive, incorruptible, and citizen-centered EPIC workforce. He assured the consultants of the Ministry's full cooperation, noting that the project will strengthen operational efficiency, human capital development, and service delivery in the aviation sector. Dr. Achibong explained that the PASGA project seeks to maintain accurate personnel records, identify skill gaps, and guide targeted training, recruitment, and deployment across ministries, departments, and agencies. She outlined the project's 3 key components: people verification to ensure data accuracy, skills assessment to determine training needs, and HR policies and systems analysis to enhance human resource structures for optimal performance. The Citizens Advocacy for Social and Economic Rights, CASAR, has called on the Enugu State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice to initiate an investigation into matters relating to former Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Jeffrey Uche Nnaji. In a statement, CASAR's Executive Director, Mr. Frank Tietie, said the organization had submitted a formal request to the Enugu State Attorney General to examine issues surrounding the former minister's resignation and determine whether any legal action may be warranted. Mr. Tietie explained that the call was made in line with CASAR's commitment to promoting accountability and strengthening public trust in the justice system. He urged the Attorney General to exercise the powers conferred by Section 211 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to ensure that due process is followed. He further stated that CASAR's letter dated October 6, 2025 was acknowledged by the Office of the Enugu State Attorney General on October 7, 2025. Earlier in the week, several civil society groups and stakeholders had similarly called for appropriate legal and administrative review of issues surrounding the former minister's resignation. The Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Christopher Musa, has emphasized the importance of physical and mental fitness alongside interagency collaboration in enhancing the military operational effectiveness and readiness. General Musa, represented by the Chief of Defense Policy and Plans, AVM Sayo Olatunde, said this during the 2025 Armed Forces and Security Agency's Route March in Abuja. He said physical and mental fitness sharpened alertness, boosted endurance, and improved decision-making under pressure, traits he described as essential in today's complex and evolving security environment. According to him, physical fit and mentally alert personnel are better equipped to perform tasks with accuracy and resilience amid contemporary threats and demanding operational conditions. General Musa added that the route march built mental and physical stamina while symbolizing unity, strength, and discipline among personnel of the armed forces and other participating security agencies. He stressed that teamwork, mutual respect, and collaboration among security forces were crucial to maintaining peace, order, and national stability across all regions of the country. The general hailed the synergy shown during the march, urging security agencies to extend such cooperation to real-time operations, especially in joint missions and intelligence sharing. He emphasized that trust, teamwork, and mutual respect were essential in tackling Nigeria's complex security threats and achieving lasting peace and national development. ComfortTV.channel's news returns shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is ComfortTV.channel's news. On business, the Registrar of the Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria, CRFFN, Mr. Kingsley Igwe, has said that the adoption of the National Single Window NSW project in the country's import and export processes will not only cut down the cost and time of cargo clearance at the ports, but also lower production costs for manufacturing firms. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting on the NSW project in Lagos, Mr. Igwe also said that despite Nigeria being strategically positioned as the gateway to Western Central Africa, businesses in the country continue to struggle under the heavy burden of high logistic cost, fragmented processes, duplication of documentation, and delays in cargo clearance. He stated that NSW represents a transformative solution that has been successfully implemented in several countries, where trade facilitation reforms have delivered measurable improvements in efficiency, competitiveness, and attracted investment. In his remarks, Director of the National Single Window Project, Mr. Tola Fakolade, said that the project will not only generate trade data, it would also make every operator in the maritime and oil and gas industries to be compliant. Still on business, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has reported that some international bilateral companies owe Nigeria's electricity generation companies GENCOs about $8.5 million in unpaid power supply. In the latest quarterly report, the Commission said the companies made a payment of $9 and $15 million from an invoice of $17.54 million issued to them in the second quarter Q2 of 2025, indicating a default of about $8.5 million. According to the report, the remittances are based on reconciled market settlement submitted to the Commission as at September 30. NERC added that the Ajokuta Steel Company Limited and the host community did not make any payment for the 1.27 billion naira invoice from Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading (NBET) PLC. The Commission said the plant did not also pay 120 million naira MO invoices received in the reviewed quarter. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) stated that the accumulated debts reflect a long-standing pattern of non-payment by the customer. The Commission further disclosed that it had notified and sought the intervention of the relevant federal government of Nigerian authorities to address the issue. On the foreign scene, former Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte, charged with crimes against humanity, will remain in custody after the International Criminal Court rejected the request from his defense team to release him on medical grounds. ICC judges ruled that Duterte posed a flight risk and could be in a position to influence witnesses if freed, arguing that this outweighed any medical problems suffered by the 80-year-old. ICC prosecutors have charged Duterte with 3 counts of crimes against humanity, alleging his involvement in at least 76 murders as part of his war on drugs. The first count concerns his alleged involvement as a co-perpetrator in 19 murders carried out between 2013 and 2016 while Duterte was mayor of Davao City. The second count relates to 13 murders of so-called high-value targets in 2016 and 2017 when Duterte was president. And the third charge is about 43 murders committed during clearance operations of lower-level alleged drug users or pushers. The prosecution alleged that these took place across the Philippines between 2016 and 2018. Duterte was arrested in Manila on March 11, flown to the Netherlands that same night, and has been held at the ICC's detention unit at Scheveningen prison since. He followed his initial hearing by video link, appearing dazed and frail and barely speaking. The judges said that medical reports provided by the defense were insufficient to allow release. Still on the foreign scene, Morocco's youth-led movement poured back onto the streets after a midweek pause, hoping their return will be loud enough to push King Mohammed VI into firing the prime minister and delivering long-promised reforms to tackle corruption and improve public services. The Gen Z 212 movement behind the protest calls for the removal of what they describe as the corrupt government and urged officials to prioritize spending on health and education. Nationwide demonstrations came after a midweek pause that organizers said was designed to focus energies on one final display of strength before King Mohammed VI's address to the nation's parliament on Friday. Despite thinner crowds, anger from those in attendance toward the government hasn't let up. In Casablanca, hundreds took to the street holding up pictures depicting government ministers as devils. Some held banners that said we wouldn't be silent anymore, while others demanded the resignation of Prime Minister Aziz Akanouch, who is also one of Morocco's wealthiest businessmen. Many said they were eagerly anticipating the king's planned address on Friday and hoped that he would expand on important reforms that officials have proposed in response to the protest. The protests have targeted Morocco's spending on infrastructures such as stadiums for the 2030 FIFA World Cup and drawn a direct line between those priorities and neglect of facilities for healthcare and education. The demonstrations first erupted after 8 women died giving birth in a public hospital in Agadir, a large coastal city 300 miles, 483 kilometers south of the capital, Rabat. Onto the sports world, Italy's 2022 world swimming champion Benedetta Pilato and another Italian swimmer were banned for 90 days for stealing cosmetics at Singapore airport. The pair were caught red-handed on their return from this year's World Championship, where Pilato took bronze in the 50-meter breaststroke. The sanction will prevent Pilato 20 and Chiara Tarantino 23 from participating in the European Short Course Championship in December in Poland. The pair were arrested by Singapore police after stealing 2 cosmetic products from a duty-free store at Singapore airport. They were able to return to Italy after Italian authorities intervened. Pilato said on social media afterwards that she had been involved in the theft independently of her will. Pilato, who won the world's breaststroke gold in Budapest 3 years ago, said that from the experience she had learned great lessons on prudence, individual responsibility, and the value of the people around her. Still in sports, Premier League referee Anthony Taylor says his family no longer attends high-profile matches due to the constant barrage of abuse he receives. In an interview with Sportsman, the British official spoke about the worst situation he had faced when he was arrested by angry Roma fans following the 2023 Europa League final in Budapest. The Italian side lost to Sevilla on penalties after an ill-tempered game during which Taylor issued 13 yellow cards. Then Roma boss Jose Mourinho criticized Taylor in his post-match press conference before directing a foul-mouthed rant at him in a car park, labeling his performance a disgrace. The Portuguese was subsequently banned for 4 matches by European football's governing body, UEFA. The following day, Taylor was targeted by fans of the Italian club as he walked through an airport. Chairs and drinks were thrown in his direction before he was ushered to a safe area. The referee revealed that his family members no longer attend big matches but attested to loving his job despite the challenges. And that's our news bulletin. But before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. Stakeholders set targets as President Tinubu picks Professor Amupitan to lead INEC. Photo DVC says 1.2 billion people are visually impaired. Aviation Ministry rolls out PSAGA project for civil service reform. KSAR urges Enugu Attorney General to investigate former Minister Naji. Defense Chief says fitness and unity are crucial to troop readiness. On business news, CRFFN says National Single Window Project will reduce cargo clearance cost. NERC says bilateral companies owe Nigeria $8.5 million. On the foreign scene, ICC rejects bid to release ex-Philippines president. And on sports, Italy's world champion suspended after stealing cosmetics at Singapore airport. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on our platforms. Remember to like and share our videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates. I remain Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.